On to the top story, India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi embarked on a two-day visit to Vientiane, Lao People's Democratic Republic. Ahead of the departure, Prime Minister issued a statement saying, "Today I am embarking on a two-day visit to Vientiane, Lao PDR at the invitation of Prime Minister Sonsai Sifindon to participate in the 21st ASEAN-India and the 19th East Asia Summit. This year, we are marking a decade of our Act East policy. I will join the ASEAN leaders to review progress in our comprehensive strategic partnership and chart the future direction of our cooperation. The East Asia Summit will provide an opportunity to deliberate on the challenges to peace, stability and prosperity in the Indo-Pacific region. We share close cultural and civilizational ties with the region, including with Lao PDR, which are enriched by shared heritage of Buddhism and Ramayana. I look forward to my meetings with the Lao PDR leadership to further strengthen our bilateral ties. I'm confident that this visit will further deepen our engagement with ASEAN countries." Unquote. Ahead of his departure, Prime Minister issued a statement saying, "Today, I am embarking on a two-day visit to Vientiane, Lao PDR at the invitation of Prime Minister Sonsai Sifindon to participate in the 21st ASEAN-India and 19th East Asia Summit." And for more, we have Meghna Dev joining us from Vientiane. Well, Meghna, Prime Minister coming there today, 10 years of India's Act East policy, and India has been quite vocal about its equations with ASEAN, which are a central pillar of the Act East policy in India's Indo-Pacific vision. What is the significance of this summit, especially if we talk about the timings?
Yes, absolutely, Lipakshi. As you said, the timing matters a lot at the moment, because when we see that first 100 days of the Modi 3.0, when Prime Minister Narendra Modi formed his government for the consecutive third term, we did see, an acceleration in the engagement with the Southeast Asian region. We recently saw Prime Minister Narendra Modi's Brunei and Singapore visit. We saw the President of India travel to New Zealand, to Fiji, to Timor-Leste. So we definitely do see that the engagement has grown. The engagement has become even more steady. Besides that, not only the outgoing visits, but the incoming visits by the Malaysian leadership or the Vietnamese leadership also speaks volumes of how reciprocative the relationship has become, or the cooperation has become. And not only that, now we are exploring new areas of cooperation. Now what we are seeing is, the semiconductor sector with Singapore. We are talking more about how to enhance tourism. We are talking about how to enhance bilateral trade. And having said that, what we also see is that the cultural cooperation is something that is, that has historical linkages, and that is being also continued in the present, and it will be continued in the near future. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be arriving in Vientiane. I'm currently present at the place where Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be arriving. We have been meeting a few people from the diaspora. They have already started arriving, more than 3-4 of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's arrival here. While the size of the diaspora is quite small, but it is significant. Most of them are entrepreneurs. Many, entrepreneurs. Most of them are working here. We also do see that, Buddhism and Ramayana, both of these aspects, bring the Southeast Asian region and India closer. And when we specifically talk about Lao PDR, a number of monks are studying in Nalanda University under the ICCR scholarship. What we also see is that Ramayana is something that is performed on auspicious occasions, on New Year. So we have historical linkages. The Archaeological Survey of India is restoring the Wat Phu temple complex in Lao PDR in the Champasak province. So there is a lot of engagement, not only bilaterally, but there's a lot of engagement going on in the aspect of the soft power. Having said all of that, India's role as the first responder in providing humanitarian assistance. We recently saw the Typhoon Yagi and how how India did provide humanitarian assistance to Myanmar, Vietnam, and Lao PDR. These aspects become, even strengthen the pillar of cooperation between us and the Southeast Asian region. So there is a lot that is going to be talked about today, and obviously the important agendas on the table will be development cooperation and much more. We can also see some new areas of cooperation coming up on the table.
Right, Meghna, as you said, we have huge historical linkages, but the two summits, ASEAN and East Asia, are the main union for India's engagement with that part of the globe and with New Delhi's role as an important player and leader of the global South now. How do you see this as a big opportunity for India to consolidate its position in ASEAN?
When we actually see, both of these forums, we definitely see it is a part of our engagement with a wider. Now, we also talk about how, not only on these forums like the East Asia Summit or the ASEAN-India Summit, we also do have mini-lateral cooperations, as we can say, like the Mekong-Ganga cooperation and other places where we are talking about connectivity, we are talking about trade, we are talking about exports, imports. We are also talking about digital public infrastructure. Prime Minister Narendra Modi last time gave a 12-pointer, proposal of what should be done, within the framework. So we are seeing this time around, when Prime Minister Narendra Modi is here, this is going to be his 10th ASEAN-India Summit and the East Asia Summit as well. What we will see that there will be a review in terms of what has been done so far and what more can be done in the near future is something that will be definitely seen. Obviously, we will also see the situation in Myanmar might, come up in the talks. We will also see the, connectivity projects also come up in the talks. We will see, more about digital public infrastructure. We will also be seeing about how to enhance tourism, direct flight connectivity, and, these aspects also coming up, in the discussions between the leaders. Having said that, obviously, the Indo-Pacific, the vision of the Indo-Pacific, the ASEAN centrality that India attaches with its vision of the Indo-Pacific is something that holds, that is something that India values significantly. That's one of the reasons, if I go back to last year, we saw that just 48 hours ahead or, before the G20 summit in New Delhi, Prime Minister Narendra Modi made sure that he reaches Indonesia, he goes to Jakarta for the ASEAN-India Summit and the East Asia Summit. So it literally shows how much of importance we do attach to the region. And this time around, it will be important to see with the 100 days of the Modi government having so much focus on the Southeast Asian region, what's more in store is something that we are looking forward to.
All right, Meghna, thank you so much for all those details from Laos.